Today, I'm going to be bringing you the exciting history of Fanta. I'm also going to be drinking Fanta, banana yogurt flavor. In 1929, a few decades after the Coca-Cola company was first founded in America, US-born Ray Powers goes across to Germany and he starts bottling Coke over there. Within a decade, he's overseeing 43 Coke bottling plants and 600 distributors. Then, World War II breaks out. Now, as you might know, the Coke formula is this closely guarded secret. The secret Coke syrup is only ever made in the United States, and then it's shipped around the world to bottlers who mix it with carbonated water to make Coke. No more secret syrup, no more Coke. And so before long, with America on one side of the war and Germany on the other, Coke production in Germany grinds to a halt. By now, after Ray Powers' tragic death in a car accident a couple of years earlier, the German government has handed over the reins of Coke Deutschland to this German guy called Max Keith. To stay in business, Keith needs a new product to sell, one that can be made with ingredients still available in Germany. Turns out, ingredients still available in Germany means apple fiber salvaged from cider presses and cheese byproducts. Ingredients that Keith himself would later refer to as the leftovers of leftovers. The resulting drink is something that supposedly tastes a bit like ginger ale. But actually, the truth is at this point, what your particular bottle of Fanta tastes like depends on what ingredients happen to be available at the time it was bottled. But anyway, next step, naming. So Keith holds this brainstorming meeting and he tells his staff to let their fantasy run wild. Fantasy is German for fantasy, so there's a bit of culture for you. Anyway, salesman Joe Nip hears fantasy and immediately goes Fanta, and that's where the name comes from. And so, in 1940, in Nazi Germany, Fanta is born. The earliest Fanta recipe is flavored with saccharin, but by 1941 this gets switched out for beet sugar, which doesn't sound like such an upgrade to me. But despite being made from junk, this original Fanta recipe sells enough bottles to keep the company going throughout the rest of the war. In 1943 alone, Coke Deutschland sold 3 million cases of Fanta, although to be fair, not all of this was actually drunk. With sugar in short supply during the war, some people are using Fanta to flavor soups and stews and stuff, which, again, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. In 1945, World War II finally comes to an end and Coke headquarters in America sends someone over to see Max Keith and figure out what he's been doing all this time while they haven't been supervising him. What they find is that he's been loyal to the company all along and he hands over all the profits he made during the war and the recipe for Fanta, which they immediately stopped producing. Until in 1955, when Pepsi started expanding their range of beverages, Coke went, oh, we gotta come up with something. And they dig up the Fanta recipe and they start making it again. That same year, the Fanta we think of as original Fanta, like orange Fanta, is born in Naples, Italy, when they start using citrus from local producers to flavor their version of Fanta. And over the next 60 years, the range just keeps on expanding until you get banana and yogurt, which I've got to say is growing on me. It's like watered down baby food, but in a good way. In 2015, a 75th anniversary edition of Fanta comes out, complete with original recipe, apple fiber, cheese byproducts, the whole delicious thing. Unfortunately, they also released this TV ad retelling the history of Fanta and saying that Coke Deutschland wants to bring back the feeling of the good old times, which, given that Fanta originated in Nazi Germany, is probably a poor choice of words. Unsurprisingly, the ad didn't last long. So anyway, there's the history of Fanta. If you know of any other weird internet rabbit holes that I should be diving down, let me know in the comments and I will maybe investigate them. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish this Fanta. Milky.